right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So before tonight's final results for the Men's Open Bodybuilding 2025 Mr. Olympia, I wanted to take a closer look at some of the HD pictures from NPC News Online at some of the poses here and kind of go pose by pose, all 8 mandatory poses of the top 4 in the very final call out where Derek and Hadi are in the center. And just kind of give a breakdown of each pose and how these guys compare. So starting with the front double bicep pose. I feel like this is a really good pose for Hadi and Andrew Jacked in this call out. I think obviously one of the big critiques of Derek Lunsford lately has been the peaks of his biceps and just the overall lack of detail in his biceps. And Hadi has, I think, much better peaks to his arms, more detail in the biceps. A pretty good V-taper, a pretty good flow. I feel like Hadi's, if you look at Hadi's, his quads, I feel like his quads are more conditioned than Derek's as well. So he's got about the same flow, like the same V-taper, better biceps, better quads. I would give this pose to Hadi, and you can make a case for Andrew Jacked here too, but I think based on the way they move these guys around, they literally never put Andrew in the center. He's the only guy in this call-out they didn't put in the center. I've seen a lot of people making an argument for Andrew Jacked winning the show. Just based on the way they moved him and just kept him on the outside and never put him in the mix, I really think he's looking at 4th. And I genuinely think we're going to have that same group of guys as the top 3 this year. But if you go over to the next pose, the front lat spread, I think this is Andrew Jacked all day, every day, not even close. This is probably, I think, Andrew Jack's best pose. I think he smokes everybody in this. This is his shot. I would definitely give this pose to Andrew Jack. So I'm going to give one pose to Hadi, the front double bicep, and then this pose to Andrew Jacked, the front lat spread. I think that's pretty fair. And again, you guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this breakdown. I just wanted to take a closer look, again, before finals wraps up, and now that we finally have some HD pictures from NPC News Online, because we're kind of looking at just like still grabs from the live stream last night that I don't really think were the best. So let's go into the side chest here. Now this one, I think I would actually give to Derek. If you just look at Derek's physique from top to bottom in the side shot, the fullness in his arms and the legs too. I feel like the legs are kind of what complete him in this pose. He just looks really good in this side chest. Very full through the delts, the pecs, the arms. The side leg looks really good, really detailed, really split up. Next to Hadi, you can see a bit more thickness in Derek's leg than Hadi's, and I think a bit more fullness in the triceps, and even really the delts. Derek's delts look a little bit fuller than Hadi's here too, but definitely the triceps look better from the side. Typically, I really like Samson Dauda in this pose, but Samson just looks a little bit off here. It really does seem like Samson came into this Olympia with the goal of coming in extra conditioned. You can tell that this is a leaner, a little bit downsized version of Samson. You can tell he was really trying hard to bring that next level condition, but I think it may have backfired a little bit because he kind of came across looking a little bit flat in a pose like the side chest where he's typically very full. Look at him next to Derek. I mean, Derek looks fuller through the arms and shoulders than Samson, and Samson kind of faded by this point, because this was kind of this was the very end of the prejudging. So again, it kind of feels like a repeat of what we saw happen at the Arnold Classic. Derek Lunsford just stayed consistent all the way through, and Samson started to fade a little bit towards the end. So in the very beginning, I thought Samson's condition when he did his individual routine was really good, but by the end of prejudging in this shot, I don't think he held on to it, and I think he really flattened out. But that's why I said in the prejudging video, if it's close, and if Samson is in the top 2 right now, Samson has the most room to improve for the final. So if Samson is in the top 2, if he really comes in fuller, he carbs up, he eats a hamburger or something, he's got a lot of room because of how flat he was here and how depleted he looked. He can make a big change between yesterday's prejudging and tonight's finals. So you could have a really big swing with him, and that's why I don't think this contest is decided yet, even after what we saw at prejudging. I think Samson has a lot of room to change how he looks, and the fact that he still seems to be in the top 3 mix here at prejudging, I think means he has potential to really come back strong at the finals, but we're going to have to wait and see. But typically, like I said, this side chest pose is usually really strong for Samson. I feel like Derek is taking it here, and again, I would point to his side leg, I would point to the fullness in the delts, in the arms, and just a little bit overall sharpness over Samson.
Without any doubt, the greatest bodybuilding show on earth.
You don't want to miss this.
I'll show the world.
Well, I'm very excited.
Best Arnold weekend ever.
To your winner, Derek Lunsford.
Let's go.
Let's move into the back poses here, though, because I thought these were interesting. So let's start with the back double bicep pose. I think I would give this pose to Derek. I think Samson is lacking in this pose, the density of his upper back, the detail in his upper back. This is one of Derek's bread and butter poses. But honestly, going over to Andrew Jacked, Andrew looks pretty damn good in this pose, too. That's a really, really strong back double bicep. But if I had to balance it out and also consider the glutes and hamstrings, even though Andrew is really dialed in here, probably the most dialed in that we've ever seen Andrew Jacked, I think when you look at the complete package from head to toe and include like the proportions of the lower body, the glutes and hamstrings, and then combine that with the upper back, I would have to give this pose to Derek. But honestly, Andrew looks insane in this pose. Just the 3D muscle in his upper back, just the way his upper back is popping is crazy. But I really do think if you're looking at completeness and proportion, you'd have to give it to Derek. So I think Derek is probably winning this. You could make an argument for Andrew over both Hadi and Samson in this pose, but I think I would give it to Derek. And where things get interesting is the back lat spread. Typically, this is a bread and butter pose for Derek Lunsford. And I'm very curious to hear what you guys think in the comments below, because I would actually give this pose to Hadi. I don't know what Hadi did with his lats, but if you look at that lower lat area and the center lat area, he looks like he's got more density in that center and lower lat. And honestly, he looks wider than Derek in the lats from the back. I don't know what Hadi did from the back, but honestly, I think I'd give the back lat spread to Hadi here. Andrew Jack looks great in this pose as well, but again, I feel like not necessarily matching up. That width of his back is not necessarily matching up with the size of his legs, the glutes and hamstrings from the back. But yeah, honestly, I would give this pose to Hadi. So far, I've got Derek Lunsford taking the back double bicep, Hadi taking the back lat spread, so that's 1-to-1. Derek taking the side chest, so that's 2 poses to Derek. Hadi taking the front double bicep, that's 2 poses to Hadi. Andrew Jacked taking the front lat spread, so that's 1 pose to Andrew Jacked. Now, let's move into the abs and thighs. I think this is Hadi. Again, Hadi all day. It's probably close between Hadi and Andrew. I'd say Hadi wins this pose, Andrew in second. You could really make a case for Andrew because Andrew's midsection is so good, but I would say you could make the case for Hadi because of Hadi's obliques and his intercostals, that side ab that he has, I think gives him the edge over Andrew. Andrew has really deep etched out abs, but Hadi has that side, the intercostals and the obliques that look really crazy. And I think his quads are a bit more feathered than Andrew. So I would give Hadi this pose. So now I've got Hadi in the lead with 3 poses. Now again, I still kind of feel like they're going to give it to Derek. And the reason that I say that is because Derek is the only guy that stayed consistent in the sense of they had him dead center at the very beginning of the very first call out. He started the show dead center, and he ended the show dead center. Samson was in the middle of the first call out, but he got moved to the outside when they ended the show. Derek didn't. So just based off Derek's positioning, I feel like they're going to have him win. And Hadi, in the very first call out in the beginning, he was positioned more in the 3rd place slot on the outside of the inner 2. And honestly, I'm not making a strong case for Samson here because so far I've got 3 poses Hadi, 2 poses Derek, 1 pose Andrew, and 2 poses left. Most muscular. I would give the most muscular, again, to Hadi. Even the hands on hips which I don't think is his best version of the most muscular. I like his crab better. I would give that to Hadi, and maybe I'd put Andrew in second here. Yeah, I'd say Hadi takes the most muscular, then Andrew, and then Samson, then Derek. I don't really like Derek's most muscular here. So right now I've got it 4 poses Hadi, 2 poses Derek, 1 pose left, that being the side tricep. I think this goes to Derek. The side tricep, it's just, again, kind of like the side chest. When you look from head to toe, Derek's side leg, the thickness from the side, the detail from the side, the fullness in the delts and the arms, he's just very balanced from top to bottom. And I think comparing triceps, this is the side tricep pose. Derek's tricep, I think, looks better than Hadi's. Andrew Jack looks great in this pose, but again, I feel like the lower body thickness isn't super proportional with like that round fullness of his upper body. Andrew does look fantastic here, though. I can see why people are making a case for him to win. But so looking at it pose by pose, I kind of prefer Hadi in 4 poses, Derek in 3, Andrew Jack in 1. And honestly, it's not really looking good for Samson. I'm sure some of you guys will disagree with these. I'm not saying my opinion is right here, but I'm not looking at any of these poses and thinking Samson is taking them. If there's a pose that you think Samson takes here, let me know. But I'm looking through them again. I don't see one that I would give to Samson. I think whatever he did to try to come in leaner and more conditioned, I really do think it worked against him. And again, we're only looking at the final call-out. This is the very last call-out of the night, the very last time they were ordered in this order. So there were other call-outs, like in the beginning where I think Samson looked a little bit better, where you maybe could have made a better argument for Samson in these poses and less of an argument for Hadi. I think Hadi got a lot better by the end of this prejudging, which is what you're looking at here, the very end, because I think he really tightened up by this point. So this is probably, this point in the night is probably Hadi at his best point in the night and probably Samson at his worst. So you kind of also have to consider the totality of the prejudging, how they looked in the other callouts. But right now, I do think that as of this callout, as of the end of prejudging, I think it went from being in between Samson and Derek to it being between Derek and Hadi, because I think you can make a strong case for Hadi in at least 4 of those poses, and that's half of the 8. But again, it depends on what happens tonight. I've heard rumblings from people in the know that Derek was leading prejudging, and that's still the impression that I got after prejudging last night. But when I look at it pose by pose in this final call-out, I'm now leaning towards Hadi. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.